So, I'm sure you've heard by now, but a new Godzilla anime has been announced. And no, it's not season 2 of Singular Point. But you know what? After hearing this, I kind of wish it was. Toho Animation announced at Anime Festival Asia Singapore 2025 today that a new Godzilla anime series is in production at Studio Orange Godzilla Singular Point in collaboration with Thailand-based Igloo Studio, My Demon. Toho's chief Godzilla officer, Keiji Ota, presented the above concept art and stated, "This work is a first for the franchise, featuring a boy who possesses the power of Godzilla, and we believe it will be able to more deeply portray both the fear and hope of the modern era." So yeah, we got another Godzilla anime on the horizon, and once again, it is not at all what I think I and most Godzilla fans want. In fact, it sounds like it is even more removed from what anyone wants than either the anime trilogy or Singular Point. Yes, the overall reaction to this, beyond just sheer bewilderment, has been exasperation and disappointment, because at this point it really seems like Toho just doesn't want to do any sort of fan service. They seem to view animation not as a medium with which to expand the Godzilla mythos, but to experiment in an attempt to appeal beyond the fan base, which I get, don't get me wrong, but you can do that while also appealing to your core fan base, which is the balance that ideally should always be struck in any new entry in a franchise, and I don't think this balance has been achieved in any of the animes at all. This brings me to the question that prompted this video. What do Godzilla fans actually want in a Godzilla anime? It's a talking point that gets brought up anytime we talk about these things, and I thought now would be a great opportunity to clarify and expand on this. Most often I hear, just give us a Monster of the Week series, like Godzilla the series, and while I have echoed those sentiments in some capacity, it doesn't paint the whole picture. I don't want a Monster of the Week series per se. What I want is an epic multi-saga series that takes characters and concepts from the franchise and expands on them. I'm going to give you an example. Godzilla vs. Megalon. It's one of the worst entries in the franchise as far as objective quality goes, but it did introduce some interesting concepts, namely Seatopia, an Atlantis-esque ancient civilization, and their monster protector god Megalon. The Seatopians are actually the remnants of an even older continent that sank into the ocean. Through technological advancements, they survived underwater, and there is evidence of their cultural influence on the surface world. Now they want revenge on the surface world for the damage that has been done to them by nuclear testing. Now, the movie doesn't really go into any of this. It's all merely window dressing to justify the awesome 2v2 fight at the end, and what little it does get into is poorly done to say the least. With a Godzilla anime, you can take this concept and truly expand on it in really amazing and interesting ways. You can create a multi-episode arc out of it, make characters out of the Seatopians, and have the main cast interact with them and create some juicy anime drama. And then there is of course the monsters. Megalon hasn't been in anything since this movie, so not only would it be awesome to see him again, the anime could also expand on him as well. Make him an actual character with his own motivations. Why does he protect Seatopia? Is it mind control or something else? What is his origins? There is so much to mine from this one movie, and that's just one. The aliens of the Godzilla franchise alone have so much potential. What about the Kilaaks from Destroy All Monsters? They've always been pretty lame, but an anime can make them cooler. Or the space cockroaches from Godzilla vs. Gigan. Those things kill people and wear their skin, but the film wasn't able to realize this on screen in a satisfying way. Look at this art here. Looks awesome, doesn't it? It takes the concept of the Space Hunter Nebulans and fully realizes it. And it is only able to do this because it isn't restricted by reality. It is pure, unlimited imagination. That is the potential power of animation. It always has been, and has been what has always made the prospect of a Godzilla anime so enticing. The fact is that throughout this 70-year-plus franchise, many movies have come and gone that introduce new ideas, factions, and characters to the mythos, most of which have not been expanded on beyond their single-film introductions. With an anime, you can finally create a single universe, a mythos, that not only takes into account all of this, but expands on it and does it better. This is what I want in my ideal Godzilla anime. It always has been. It's what I used to imagine as a kid. Not necessarily a monster of the week, though some aspect of that is kind of unavoidable here, but an ever-expanding, multi-season sci-fi fantasy action-adventure story. You know how Dragon Ball Z is broken up into sagas? The Frieza saga, the Cell saga, etc.? I want the Gigan saga, the King Ghidorah saga. I think this comparison sums it up pretty succinctly. And then there's the obvious, which are the monster fights. We've had 2 animes now, both of which did not even come close to realizing the potential of a monster brawl unrestrained by the freedom of animation. And from what we know about the premise for this new one, we won't be getting it here either. Most likely the action will be this kid with Godzilla powers fighting other people, DBZ style or something, or even other monsters. So no, I don't just want to retread old ideas. That is not what I am saying. As I said, ideally you balance old with new. Going back to the Megalon example, the anime wouldn't just retell that film but longer. It would take the concept, expand it, and go in new and interesting directions. Old and new. Look, is there potential in this boy with Godzilla powers concept? Sure, there isn't any concept. Any concept can be compelling if done right. But the deck is stacked very much against this premise. It will have a lot to prove to show that it is more than just another shonen anime or a Kaiju number 8 ripoff. And will I watch it? Yes, of course I will, but I will be stepping into it with immense skepticism and morbid curiosity. However, once again, I will be lamenting what could have been. Maybe we will see this Dream Godzilla anime of mine in some capacity one day, but at this point it seems like it will always remain a dream. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for listening to my ramblings. If you enjoyed it or agree with my sentiments, please leave a like or a comment. How do you feel about this new Godzilla anime, and what would you like to see in your Dream Godzilla anime? Let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks again for watching, and as always, long live the king.